Sometimes the most brilliant criminals aren't the ones caught on camera. They're the ones who vanish without a trace. From entire vaults emptied in a single night to thieves who left behind clues that make no sense. These are the heists that broke the rules, baffled investigators, and still remain unsolved to this day. It was called the heist of the century, and no one saw it coming. In February 2003, thieves broke into the Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium, one of the most secure vaults in the world. They bypassed multiple security systems, including infrared heat detectors, magnetic fields, and a lock with 100 million possible combinations. When security arrived Monday morning, the vault was open and more than $100 million in diamonds, gold, and jewelry were gone. The only evidence? A half-eaten sandwich left near the crime scene. Authorities later found a man named Leonard Notarbartolo, a professional thief who'd rented an office in the building for months before the heist, allowing him to scope out the security system. He was arrested and convicted, but he never revealed who helped him or where the diamonds went. Even now, police believe most of the stolen gems are still out there, hidden or sold through underground channels. No trace has ever surfaced. On the night of March 18, 1990, two men dressed as Boston police officers walked into the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. They told the night guards there was a disturbance and were let inside. Minutes later, the guards were tied up in the basement. For the next 81 minutes, the thieves calmly looted the museum, taking 13 priceless artworks, including pieces by Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Degas worth over $500 million. None of the artwork has ever been recovered. Decades of investigations led nowhere, despite theories connecting the heist to the mob, international art traffickers, and even IRA gun runners. The museum still keeps the empty frames hanging on the walls as a haunting reminder of the crime. The FBI officially considers it the largest art theft in history and one of the most baffling unsolved cases ever. Imagine digging a tunnel so perfect it fooled the police for months. In 2005, a group of men posing as landscapers set up a fake turf company in Fortaleza, Brazil. For 3 months, they secretly dug a 260-foot tunnel beneath the city, reinforced with wood and lighting. The tunnel led directly into the vault of the Banco Central. Over a single weekend, they hauled out 3.5 tons of cash, worth more than $70 million, without triggering a single alarm. When employees returned Monday, they thought the money had been moved for accounting until they saw the hole in the floor. The operation was so sophisticated that authorities believed professional engineers and former military men were involved. Some arrests were made, but most of the money was never recovered. The true mastermind and where the fortune ended up remains unknown. If you've ever seen Goodfellas, you probably know this story, but what you might not know is that it is still officially unsolved. In December 1978, a crew associated with a crime family pulled off a daring robbery at JFK Airport in New York, stealing $5 million in cash and nearly $1 million in jewelry from the Lufthansa cargo terminal. It was the largest cash robbery ever on US soil at that time, but what followed was even darker. Within weeks, most of the men involved turned up dead, execution style. The suspected mastermind, Jimmy Burke, was never charged with the heist itself, and almost all physical evidence disappeared. To this day, none of the stolen cash or jewelry has ever been found, and the FBI considers it an open case. This one might sound like a movie plot that went perfectly right for a while. In 1997, Alan Pace, a regional safety inspector for the Dunbar Armored, used his insider knowledge to plan one of the most successful cash heists in US history. He recruited 5 friends, and on a Friday night, they broke into the Los Angeles Armored Depot. They ambushed security guards during shift change, they loaded up $18.9 million in used bills, and escaped without firing a single shot. The plan worked for 2 years. But one of the crew members made a simple mistake. He gave a stack of bills still wrapped in original Dunbar bands to a real estate agent who then turned it in. All 6 men were caught and convicted, but here's the twist. Most of the money was never found. Pace refused to reveal where he stashed it, and investigators believe millions are still hidden somewhere in Southern California. In 1972, a professional thief named Emil Denzio led a team of burglars from Ohio to California. Their target was the United California Bank. Using dynamite and a plan that seemed straight out of a spy film, they broke through the roof, disabled the alarm, and blew open the vault. They got away with $9 million in cash, gold, and valuables, equivalent to around $60 million today. But the reason this heist remains disturbing is what was allegedly inside. Rumors suggest the thieves found secret political slush funds tied to President Nixon. The FBI eventually arrested the crew, but the stolen money and the alleged evidence linking it to corruption was never recovered. Even decades later, Denzio has hinted that there were, quote, things in the vault the public was never supposed to know existed. Early morning, November 26, 1983, Heathrow Airport, London. 6 men wearing ski masks stormed into Brink's Mat warehouse expecting to steal cash. Instead, they found 6,800 gold bars worth about $35 million at the time. They forced a security guard, who turned out to be in on it, to opened the vault and loaded the gold into a van. Police quickly caught some of the suspects, but the gold itself vanished into the criminal underworld. It was melted down, mixed with copper, and sold back into the market. Experts believe much of the gold circulating in the UK today still contains traces of that stolen batch. The aftermath was brutal. Several people connected to the heist lost their lives, and millions of pounds never surfaced. The case has been linked to organized crime for decades, but no one knows who ultimately profited from one of the biggest gold robberies in history. On August 8, 1963, a Royal Mail train traveling from Glasgow to London was stopped in the middle of the night by a fake red signal light. When the engineer got out to investigate, 15 masked men ambushed the crew and hijacked the train. They stole $2.6 million, which would be over $70 million today, then hid out at a remote farmhouse. Police eventually caught most of the gang, but a huge chunk of the money was never recovered. The heist itself was disturbingly well planned. The robbers even practiced moving heavy mail bags for weeks beforehand. But what makes this case truly strange is how it ended. One of the thieves, Ronnie Biggs, escaped prison, fled to Brazil, and then lived freely for decades while becoming a tabloid celebrity. Even with arrests, no one ever discovered where the missing millions went. New York City, 1972. Just after 3 a.m., a group of 5 men disguised as security guards entered the Pierre Hotel, one of the most luxurious hotels in Manhattan. Over the next 2 hours, they tied up guests and staff and emptied the hotel's safe deposit boxes filled with jewelry and cash belonging to the world's richest clients. They made off with an estimated $27 million, worth nearly $200 million today. No alarms were triggered, and the thieves left calmly. Only a fraction of the loot was ever recovered, and most of the robbers either vanished or were found dead years later. What makes this heist chilling is how controlled it was. No violence, no chaos, just silent professionalism. To this day, the Pierre Hotel robbery stands as one of the most valuable and mysterious crimes in American history. In 2006, a group of men in Kent, England, pulled off one of the most disturbing and meticulously planned robberies ever recorded. They kidnapped the depot manager and his family, posing as police officers to gain access to the Securitas cash management depot. Once inside, they tied up 14 employees and forced them to open the vaults. By the time police were alerted, the gang had vanished with $53 million, about 92 million USD. Several suspects were caught, but investigators believe many more were involved, including professional criminals from across Europe. Millions of pounds remain missing, and several members of the gang were never identified. To make it worse, the trauma inflicted on the hostages, especially the kidnapped family, made it one of the most psychologically disturbing heists ever committed in the UK. Alright guys, that is our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.